What's up, guys? This is Child Support School. Class is in session. Today, guys, pull up a chair because we got to have a talk. Today I want to talk about establishing parental rights to fix or address child support or just have a relationship with your kid, okay? I say pull up a chair because we have to have a talk because this is an area that is super important to child support, but it's an area where a lot of us are procrastinating. We're kind of hiding from it. We're running away from it because it's really involved. It's life-changing with the responsibility and everything. But it's a strategy. It's a big part of this process that cannot be ignored. Because if you ignore it, it would be absolutely to your detriment in many ways. All right, so before I really jump in, if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up icon. Really helps us out in the algorithm. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, it costs you nothing. And I'm putting out educational videos, informational videos like this all the time. Okay. Oh, and also this is not legal advice. Please read the disclaimer in the description below. Okay, guys. So establishing parental rights. So most of you who are watching this video have a kid and you weren't married to the other parent, okay? And the other parent is probably not really letting you see the kid that much, if at all. And either you have child support ordered against you, you're going to have child support, or either you have child support ordered against you, you've got child support now coming after you, or maybe you don't have an order, but it's going to happen eventually, and you need to hear this anyway. Okay, so in pretty much every jurisdiction that I'm aware of, if you're not married, if you're dad and you're not married and you have a kid, you don't have any parental rights at all. In fact, you're not recognized by the law in any way, shape, or form as a parent, right? You have zero rights. And the other parent, the mom, has 100% of the rights. And if she wants to tell you you can't see your kid, she can unfortunately get away with that until you go through a court process where you establish your parental rights. In my jurisdiction, it's called establishment of paternity. Okay, it doesn't mean you take a DNA test. It's a legal paternity. It's just a circuit court judge in your jurisdiction making a finding and entering an order that says that, hey, look, this is the father of this child, right? Just by that simple thing, now you've got all of your parental rights that now come in. Now it also has some responsibilities, right? You know, child support, maybe contributing to health insurance, or contributing to medical costs for the child that aren't covered by health insurance. You know, that kind of stuff. There's some responsibilities, but it's your rights. It's your right to have a relationship with your kid. It's your right to have court-ordered time sharing with your kid. Maybe it's 50-50. Maybe it's every other weekend. Maybe if you live in another state, it's just during the summer, spring break, and winter break, whatever. But that's something that you have a right to. All you have to do is go through a court process to establish it. Okay, so a big one is if you don't have your parental rights established, the mom can technically just pack up in most places, okay? Consult an attorney on this for your particular jurisdiction. But where I am, if you don't have your parental rights established, mom can just pack up a U-Haul and move like 10 states away with your child, and you can't stop her. Like, you would have the police there in her driveway. You know, she's closing up the back door of the U-Haul. She's ready to take off with the child. And the police will say, sorry, sir, there's nothing we can do about it because, you know, you don't have your rights established. There's no court order. We can't stop her. All right, and you just have to watch her ride off into the sunset. And that's a really rough situation to be in, and it's really hard to fix that because most places you can't get an order from mom to get yanked back until you file this paternity action. You have mom served with it, right? Now, if you have a process server, go up and serve mom with your paternity action as she's closing up the back door to the U-Haul. Totally different story, right? Now, mom, you know, in most places, now mom's stuck. She's got to get a court order for her to be able to move. And that's going to be really hard for her to do, okay? So that's why putting this stuff off is so... It's so important that you don't put it off. Another thing is, once a child gets to be a certain age, this becomes a lot harder, right? If you've lived down the street from your child for 10 years and you could have moved to establish your parental rights all that time, but just didn't, and then mom started coming after you for child support when the child was 10, and then you try to do it, it's going to look shady. It's going to look like you're only doing it to lower child support, and that's going to be hard for you too. You don't want to put it off. I mean, just putting it off just causes so many hurdles to get dropped in your path when you're finally going to do it. Okay, so here's the deal. When you go to establish your parental rights, there's going to be, and I made other videos about this, but there's going to be a bunch of allegations that are going to be made against you. Okay, it's nearly 100% of the time when you do this. Mom is not going to want to, or the other parent, if it's not mom, could happen. But mom is generally not going to want you to swoop in and get all this equal rights to parenting and equal time sharing and all this other stuff that you're going to be asking for, right? She's going to be very resistant to that. It's going to be very scary to her. And so generally what you're going to see is you're going to see allegations coming. He's drunk, he smokes pot everywhere, he smokes crack, he's a drug dealer, domestic violence, that's a huge one. Oh, in our relationship, he used to beat my ass and in front of the kid, and he passed out drunk at Thanksgiving dinner in front of my whole family and the kid, right? Whatever, that one thing that happened 8 years ago where maybe the cops got called but they didn't do anything and they left and everything was hunky-dory after that for the next 7 years, right? That's going to get pulled out from under the rug, and now that's going to be this horrible incident that shows that you're unsafe to be around a child, all that stuff. And it's just the nature of this. It's just the nature of this process. I mean, it's going to be allegations are going to come, and it's just the other parent is not going to want to say, yes, Your Honor, I was unreasonable, I was controlling, I wanted to exclude this parent from my child's life. They're not going to say that, right? That makes them sound horrible. Okay, what they're going to say is there's some sort of justification for why they did it. Okay, oh, well, there was this time 5 years ago where we had this domestic violence thing, and I was scared, and now I'm scared of this person. I'm scared to be around this person. I'm scared for my child's safety around this person. Anything that they can get, anything that they can put together to throw against the wall to see what sticks, to make you look bad, to be a justification to limit your contact or your time sharing with this person. Now, sometimes that's going to be for the purpose of getting more child support out of you, because a quick Google search or watching a channel on YouTube, like maybe this one, anybody can figure out that the more overnight contact you have with your kids, the lower your child support's going to be, right? But generally for mom, the lower your overnights are, the higher the child support you're going to pay is going to be, and that can be a motivator too. But I find in my experience most of the time the motivator is control. It's kind of parents have a control issue. They want to be in control of the child, and that usually leads to it. Now, sometimes if mom makes more than dad and dad is going for 50-50, mom finds out that if dad gets 50-50, she would actually owe him child support. That's a big one too. For a lot of moms, the thought of paying dad child support is just a deal breaker. They would go down swinging, go to the mat, right? 12 and a half rounds before they agree to any sort of custody that would have them paying dad child support. And that's where it can get really nasty with the high conflict litigation. But anyway, all right, so I'm trying to dump as much useful information in your lap as possible. Now, as you go through this process of establishing parental rights, you're going to file a petition, okay? I'm going to have much more in-depth videos when we add the subscription feature to this channel on where to find the paperwork, what kind of information needs to go there, and what you do with it from there. But you're going to file a petition. Okay, you don't need a lawyer for this. I recommend that you get a lawyer, but you don't technically need one in most places. And you're going to file this petition. You're going to have to pay a filing fee. okay, to your local clerk of court when you file. It's probably going to be around $300. You're going to have to pay a process server or use the sheriff's department to serve a copy of your petition and a summons and some other items on the other parent. Usually that's going to be the mom, and then she's going to have 20 days to file an answer. Okay, most places you're going to have to exchange financial discovery, right? A financial affidavit, checking account statements, the last couple of years of tax returns, your pay stubs for probably the last 6 months, savings account statements, credit card statements. There's a list of mandatory financial documents that everyone's going to have to exchange during the case, and it's just basically stuff for the other side to verify income, right? So if mom is saying, hey, I don't earn any money and I pay $1,000 a month in daycare, right, both of those things will jack your child support way up. The discovery rule is there so that you can verify, hey, wait a minute, she doesn't pay any child care, right? The child goes to her mom's house every day. There's nothing in her paperwork that shows she's paying child care. All right, so you can prove that. And wait a minute, she's working, she's getting direct deposit. She's getting $500 cash dropped in her checking account every single week. And why else would she need child care if she wasn't working? Okay, boom, now you can prove that too. That's why discovery is so important. Cannot skip that. And then you'll go to mediation. Mediation is a court-mandated settlement process where a mediator is going to try to help you guys work out a deal, right? Most cases settle at mediation or right after mediation, okay? But if you can't settle at mediation, then procedurally your next step is going to trial. Now, a lot of people try to avoid that like the plague because it's very scary for them. And if you've never done it before, yeah, it's going to be scary. It's going to be complicated. There's a lot of ways it can go right. There's a lot of ways you can mess it up and it can go wrong. Every one of these steps, petitioning, discovery, mediation, getting ready for trial, and attending trial, all of these things deserve a whole series of videos on them, okay? And there's going to be, I'm going to do videos on this channel on all of those, but again, when we're able to offer the subscription feature to this channel, there's going to be a lot more in-depth stuff on, generally on how to do that. That's going to be available there. So be on the lookout for that. I'll link to in the description below when that's available. But trial is basically that is the ultimate moment, right? When you sit down and you start trial, where the other parent, like who's trying to keep the kid away from you, no longer has control, and it becomes very real to them. That control is owned 100% by the judge. The judge decides everything, okay? About those allegations, you got to remember, she's going to have to prove, or the other parent is going to have to prove those allegations against you. Okay, they're going to have some kind of substantial, competent evidence, right? They're going to have that photo or that video of you passed out drunk. And at Thanksgiving dinner in front of her whole family, or bring in one of her family members to testify about it happening, or she's going to have that that police officer come in and testify about responding to that domestic violence incident, or photos of bruises. It's some sort of proof, right? Now, of course, they might bring witnesses in to come and lie. Right? I'm going to make a video about, when witnesses come in and lie, how's the judge going to process that, and what can you do about it? But you want to be thinking about all this stuff, what kind of, that in nearly 100% of these cases, the other parent is going to accuse you of something that would paint you as an unsafe parent to exercise time with your kid, okay? So that's going to happen. Sit down, make a list of what kind of dirt is this person going to try to throw at me, right? If the cops were ever called to your house when you guys were in a relationship, guaranteed, write that down. That's going to come up, okay? And then start thinking, what evidence do I have that I didn't do anything that night? Well, the cops didn't take me to jail. I never heard from the cops again. Our next door neighbor saw the whole thing, right? Get a hold of that person, right? Get their updated contact information. That's a huge witness here to prove that nothing happened. The next day we went on a fabulous day date. We stayed in a hotel, we went on vacation the following week, and here's all the healthy, loving selfies that she took of us during that vacation the next day, right? All that stuff is potential evidence to prove that nothing happened. You want to really be taking an inventory on everything that they could be throwing at you, okay? And then really just leaving no stone unturned in terms of finding ways to prove that stuff didn't happen or that you didn't do it, okay? Because at the end of the day, you have a say. Just because the other parent is going to make a bunch of allegations against you does not mean that you can't put up a fight and you can't disprove those. All right, and maybe you got some allegations of your own against the other parent. Be thinking about that too. But anyway, all right, so I'm at like 15 minutes here. There's going to be a whole series on establishing parental rights, child custody. There's just so many aspects of this, and each video is going to have some information that bleeds into other aspects of this process. But anyway, so stay tuned. All right, again, if you found this video helpful, please hit that thumbs up icon. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, I would do it. And again, it doesn't cost anything, and if you're not going through this now, the chances are you will at some point in the future, or you know someone. Again, if you know someone who's going through this stuff too, tell them about this channel. Text them a link to this channel, this video. It can be very helpful to them. I want to get this information out to as many people as I possibly can. Just trying to help people. That's why I do this. It's just there's not enough good information out there to help parents that are in this type of situation. And I'm a lawyer. I know lawyers are expensive. They're costly. Not everyone can drop a $5,000 retainer to do this stuff. And people are going it on their own, and they need some good information. I'm a little limited on how, I can't answer specific questions, right? I can't link to my law firm here, to stay compliant with the rules. But I do the best I can to try to help out any way I can. Anyways, guys, all right, class is dismissed. Thanks for hanging through to the end. I know this was a long one, but I will see you guys in the next one, okay? Be on the lookout for more videos in this series on establishing parental rights and custody. Talk to you soon.